What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. This is episode number 94. We start today's stuff on the back of our big win over Fiorentina. 4 games to go, 11-point gap on Roma. Now we know the title is basically ours. I've bottled some really good leads before, but 1 point needed from 4 games. Yeah, I think we're going to be alright. So, heading into the first game of today's episode, Roma away. Fitting as well that this is the game where we could be mathematically champions. This is the side that won the Serie A last season before we joined Juventus. So, heading into the game, I wanted to get it done here. Statement of intent. And we've won every single game since that loss to Real Madrid in the Champions League. I gotta say, that's the sign of good response and good resilience. You know, how do you come on the back of a really damaging, really poor, humbling, embarrassing loss? How about win every other game that follows directly after that? That's exactly what has happened. So taking on Roma, no goals in free for Vlahovic for those curious now. Obviously in the Fiorentina game, I had to play him in a bit of a different role. He wasn't banging him in like he ordinarily does. 31 goals for the season, needs 9 more, to get to the magic total of 40. Which is definitely doable. You know, there's 4 games to go. It's definitely doable, but it's unlikely. He needs over 2 in every game, which again is doable for a striker of his quality. But I've bottled it with Vlahovic. I don't think I'm going to bottle the title, but I've definitely bottled the chance to get to 40 with Vlahovic. No goals in the last 3 games. And okay, fair enough. I talked at length in the last game against Fiorentina about how, you know, when a player is struggling at, you know, what is their best sort of role, if you will, or their best asset, you know, it's a sign of a great player where they can impact the game in other ways. Vlahovic in the last game against Fiorentina, I couldn't get him a goal, but he set up the first and got involved in the build-up for the second goal. But goal scoring is his main asset, obviously, being the top scorer and going to win the Golden Boot. I really would have liked to get him to 40, but in this game against Roma, I got 2 chances with him. I missed them both. We were tied at 1-1 after Roma found a leveler after Reyes gave us the lead, but stoppage time after I surrendered our lead. A point would have been enough to secure the title, but it felt cooler to win it, of course. Yep, Steven Bergwijn, who, to be fair, in the second half of the season, I would say, has been my second best player behind Vlahovic. He's been unbelievable in the second half of the season, but he had very little work to do to score that winner there. Yep, Reyes, he scored the first, set up the second, running through 1-on-1. Quick little cut back across the face of the goal, and there is the Dutch winger to side heel it in. I mentioned before, Bergwijn is the sort of player that does everything with flair. You know, everything with flair. You know, 2 of his assists this year have been Rabona assists. You know, it's strange enough for me to get a Rabona assist, you know, once a season, let alone once a save, let alone 2 in the same season by the same player. That goes to show what Bergwijn's all about. How does he score the goal that wins us the game in stoppage time? He side heels it in. Yeah, I know it's an open goal, but even so, this guy, he can't help himself, man. He can't help himself. He has to do everything with flair. He's addicted to doing things with flair. He won us the game. Not it was going to matter. The title was in the bag anyway, but it does extend our winning run in the Serie A, and we do win at the Champions to become champions. Yep, there it is. Roma 1, Juve 2, and we have won the title. But for Vlahovic now, 9 goals needed in 3 games, 3 hat-tricks in a row, otherwise no Golden Boot. You know, again, slight possibility because of how good he is and how good I've been with him this season, but the likelihood is it's about as strong of a chance as me marrying Megan Thee Stallion. I mean, you know, it's not beyond the realms of physical human possibility, but it's not going to happen. So, unfortunately. So, yeah, second game of today's episode, Sassuolo away, title now in the bag, and the chance of Vlahovic getting to 40 again, basically all but gone. Sassuolo away, nothing really to play for now, but I would have loved to have kept the winning run going all the way through until the end of the season. Made a few changes heading into this game here, and I gotta say, I really struggled with this one. Sassuolo are a great team for a career mode, by the way. They really are. They've got some really kind of unique kits, if you will. They're a side who haven't actually won, you know, much at all in the club's history, especially major honours. They're a great team for an RTG in FIFA Career Mode. There's a couple of good young players as well. Obviously, you know, Skamaka and has moved on. Raspadori, Fratesi as well. You know, they've had a good record in recent years of producing good young talents. They're a great side for an RTG Sassuolo, but I took them on here away from home and my winning run was halted. Thankfully, it didn't really matter. We lost the game 2-1 in the end. I almost battled back from 2-0 down to level. It smacked the crossbar late on, but my undefeated run in the Serie A ends here. But again, not really fussed. Yep, last time we lost in the league came in that embarrassing loss to Torino back in January, but back then it was a much more damaging of defeat. That saw us lose our lead at the top of the table, I believe, after that game there. This time the title's already been won, so it wasn't really one bit fussed. I did like the fact that the players, celebrated in the huddle, come to find a whistle though, just to break up the immersion and the realism. I've mentioned before, EA have got to work on those little things because they're very, very easy to work on, and it kind of frustrates me that they don't. How often have I talked about situation-specific celebrations and how they can make or break realism? When you score a last-minute goal or a last-minute winner in a massive, massive game, it should warrant those late goal celebrations. And we saw it in the first game today. Like I said, the point would have been enough to be champions, but the win guaranteed it. That, Roma wouldn't be able to find a late winner to stop us from winning the Champions, and we're winning at the ground the team that won the Serie A last year. It's a massive, massive moment, so the late goal celebrations are 100% justified. That loss to Sassuolo, it's an embarrassing 2-1 defeat, and whilst it doesn't really count for anything, really, it's like we don't need the wild celebrations while we've been beaten and lost our winning run away from home. What was the point? But here we go, right on cue, situation-specific celebrations. A little bit over the top, I would say, for this moment here against Empoli. We get the win, return to winning ways, but again, not really too important. But I guess it was our final home game of the season, so it did feel kind of nice. Federico Chiesa completes the turnaround single-handedly, scored our leveller early into the second half, and then scores the winner in stoppage time as well. 2-1 win at home to Empoli here in Turin. Our final game of the Allianz Stadium this season ends in a win, and we'll lift the trophy, lift the title with a win to our name as well. I got to say, it's been a tough season with Juve. It really, really has. And despite the fact we've won the title with 3 games to go, mathematically, it's been a challenging season. And I think that I said before, like for me, squad depth was a really important reason as to why with Bayern last season we obviously went out of the cup very, very early at home in the 3rd round. We obviously just about made it through the Champions League group stage in the final group game. I've talked about it before, we were 45 minutes away from being knocked out in the group stage. In the end, went all the way to win it, but it was a sign of resilience. We came back from 4-0 down again. I'll keep on talking about it, man, because I can't help myself. I'm still buzzing that I did that. It's one of the best things I think I've ever done in FIFA CM. To come back from 4-0 down in the Champions League knockout to Barcelona to win 5-4 over 2 legs. But, squad depth was a major problem. This season, we definitely improved the depth with Juventus. Obviously, particularly in January, brought in quite a few players on transfer deadline. I think it was 5, or maybe 6 new signings on deadline day after we sold Araujo and brought in Ruben Diaz as the replacement for half the price. I then reinvested the extra 75 million on new squad depth. But, for definite, I think that the big failure this year was definitely in the Champions League, because obviously, like the Cup, yes, getting knocked out early by Torino was disappointing, don't get me wrong, but you've seen in this episode here, we've had some performance review meetings being scheduled. That's not because of our Cup failure. We were asked to reach the final in the Champions League, got knocked out in the first knockout round. Okay, fair enough, very tough draw against Real Madrid, don't get me wrong, but lost both of the legs convincingly, and that was the big failure of the season. But for the Serie A's sake, yes, we had some moments where we were struggling. Yes, we had some moments where we performed badly. Yes, we had some bad losses. That loss away against Sassuolo was, again, meaningless but still frustrating. The 3-2 loss to Inter Milan in Turin, that was really disappointing because at the time they were looking like our closest title threat. In the end, they totally fell off in the second half of the season. Obviously getting battered at home by Torino as well. Quite frustrating, but the Serie A is where we have been the most dominant this season, and it feels good to know that after last season, Juve finished trophyless. Okay, this year hasn't gone exactly according to plan, but I'll be totally honest here, I'm happy that I won something with Juve in my first season, and the Serie A to me was definitely my main goal as well, so buzzing to have won that. But I have to say, as I enter the final game of the season with Juve here at the San Siro, taking on AC Milan, I could not help myself. I fielded 10 changes, only Donnarumma starting. I couldn't help myself. I had to give him the captain's armband for this one here. I have to say, I think my time has come with this save to call it a day on the back of 3 league titles in 3 different countries with 3 different teams. Forest, Bayern, Juve. I think it's time for me to call this save a day now. You know, I've really enjoyed it. It's been a lot of fun, but I do accept that a lot of you guys have found this one harder to get into, have found it harder to stay immersed with, haven't enjoyed it quite as much as other career modes I've done, and I also take 100% responsibility for that. I've just not done as well with this save as I possibly could have done. So I don't just mean in terms of like winning or stuff like that, but just in general, it's not really hit the mark. I haven't really had like a proper hero in this save. It started off with Rodri Brown, but due to dynamic potential, he never developed how he should have done. That one kind of out of my control, but still frustrating enough. I didn't really have anyone else. Obviously, I brought back Tony. I thought it was a great decision. Some of you guys didn't take to that. Even so, my fault for getting that wrong. But for the most part, it's not been a save which I know has been a classic, if you will. And I think that I would have loved to have won 3 straight CLs with 3 different teams in 3 different countries. Sadly, I bottled it this way with Juve, but to have won 3 different league titles with 3 different teams in 3 different countries, I still think that's pretty impressive, to be fair. So yeah, I think my time has come with this save, and I think as this is the season finale, I think I'm ready for something new. I definitely do. I'm really enjoying my player save right now. I'm definitely going to keep going with that, but I'm ready to start a new career mode. And I think what I'm going to do is tomorrow afternoon do a special in-depth look at the save, wrap up the series as a whole, and then start a new project on Saturday morning. I've got a good idea for it. I am definitely, you know, I've got the itch to do something new, and yeah, I'm quite satisfied ending on 3 league titles in 3 different countries in a row. But that would end today's episode of CM, guys. So big thank you for watching. Hope you have enjoyed the season finale. If you have, then please do drop a like. Much love to you. Have a fantastic day. I will return tomorrow with a special in-depth look at the save. That will be the series finale, and then I'll start a new career mode on Saturday morning. Have a great day. Much love, and I will see you for the series finale very soon.